Welcome back to the Education System Reboot channel. I just wanted to do a short video about choices. And I made this little, I don't know what you want to call it, visual aid to kind of illustrate what I wanted to talk about. And in the education system, I feel like we completely understand intuitively that kids that make good choices are going to be more successful than those make bad choices. And yet, I think sometimes our systems, the way we've just chosen to like organize our systems in terms of accountability and just maybe grading systems and assessments over homework, etc. Just maybe in a weird way, I hate to say it, maybe even proficiency grading, depending on how you're doing it. It kind of allows kids to not make good choices, thinking that by the end they can make it up somehow. Anyway, I just thought this was kind of an important kind of visual aid to think about. And so I'm just going to do this very quickly. I don't think this will take very long, but we've got a choice, and up here represents a positive arrow, your positive choice, and this represents a negative choice. And it can be small choices, big choices, it doesn't matter. But basically, if you make a choice whether to do your homework or not, right? Okay. Well, so if you choose to do your homework, you're going to be prepared for maybe something, right? If you choose not to, you might not. Now, what I wanted to show though is at each point, this is, I think, the important part about this is each choice. I think we need to do a better job of teaching students to reflect on their choices, to learn from their choices. Because what's interesting, this is what I want to illustrate is, so obviously, if each student makes it, like a student A makes a good choice every time, they're going to end up over here. And this is just 5 choices or 4 choices technically, right? 1, 2, 3. But anyway, um, but yeah, every choice either has a positive or negative result. As you can see from this simple chart, the difference between a positive choice and a negative choice can have a drastic difference in outcome, even small sample size, right? Um, and my point is, if you reflect on your choices and learn from them, then you can maintain an upward trajectory. But if you do not reflect or learn from your choices, then things head in the opposite direction. And you can kind of see that. Um, anyway, so now imagine these choices playing out over years or decades. So again, accountability to choices, right? Maybe incentivizing, or maybe, I mean, I don't know if you even want to use the word incentivizing, but teaching kids that the right choices in life matter, especially over time. But the bottom line, let's just look at the difference. So if I choose good choices, I'm here. If every choice I make for 4 choices in a row is bad, I wind up down here. Just looking at that, that's a big difference. All right. So what if I make a negative choice, but I realize it was a negative choice and I learn from it? Well, then I make a positive choice. Look at where I am. I could end up where I started, right? Then I could say, okay, let me make another good choice. Boom. But then I'm like, I made a kind of a bad choice. Boom. But you didn't really have a net loss, right? You're still kind of growing. And if you think about that, any opportunity to make a positive choice over time is going to help us head towards this positive life choices, right? And I just, again, maybe I'm just cynical now, maybe I'm a little pessimistic, but I see our system that doesn't really incentivize or even hold kids accountable to making these good choices. They can procrastinate, they can do all these things thinking that they can at the last minute achieve, or make it up or study or cram. And yet if they choose not to do their homework, that's a choice that's going to lead them this way. Now, I'm going to end with this. Imagine, kind of what it says here, imagine these choices playing out over years or decades. Imagine if we, the unintended consequence of some of our decisions in education to create the systems we do is to incentivize kids to not make good choices, right? To think that they can procrastinate. Well, no wonder our high flyers are not, or I should rephrase, no wonder there's a bigger gap between our high flyers and our low flyers, because the high flyers are the people that are getting this from home, basically, right? We as the education system owe it to our students to have a more clear structure, a more accountability. And this to me goes back to the homework principle. Like I said I was going to end, but I'll end with this. If all this represents is choice of homework, right? Well, if a kid consistently chooses to do homework, they're going to be prepared. If a kid doesn't do their homework but starts to maybe realize, maybe I should, they might end up here. If they continually say that they're not going to do their homework, they're not going to be as prepared. Anyway, all of this is to say that choices matter. Choices matter greatly. And our responsibility to develop good character in our students is to somehow, however if you are listening to this and you're a classroom teacher or an administrator or whatever, you got to figure it out for your class or your city or your district, whatever. But I think we need to spend a little bit more time focusing on choices and holding them accountable. I hope that made sense. But anyway, it's just thought I was thinking about this today. I thought it was an important thing to cover. All right. So with that said, as always, consistent effort over time equals success. Thank you.